Five ways to make the MLB All Star Game more interesting. Major League Baseball's All Star Game has long been an annual rite of summer. That reality is, Nielsen has been keeping track of the game's ratings and viewership for 52 years, and 2018's contest was in both categories. Even more alarming, this is no doubt due in part to cord cutting, which continues to hurt traditional television ratings numbers, but it also speaks to baseball's relative inability to capture the attention of younger fans. The median age of, in case Rob Manfred happens to be reading, I've got a few suggestions as to how MLB can tweak its showcase mid-season event to be more enticing to prospective viewers. Start the game earlier. If you've followed baseball for any length of time, you know that one of the most common complaints is that playoff games, particularly World Series games, start too late. The same goes for make the game shorter. This one should be easy, because MLB has already gotten it right with the Futures game, which was played Sunday night. The contest was short, and every team gets an all-star rule. Either your team has an all-star, or all-stars, or it doesn't. The idea that experiment with rules. MLB is already doing this, but again, it is thinking too small. The Atlantic League, more money, more motivation. Yet again, the league gets this right in principle but not in scale. There is a bonus pool. Related slide show 10 predictions for MLB's second half provided by Yard Barker.
Raindrop, drop top, smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up.